as you started to grow in that success and that journey, and you decided you wanted everything you do to have a positive impact on others, whether it was music and then movies, and then that journey led you to just tell us about the hard work and graft that went into the creation of what you said earlier, which was like, I was working so hard and my family hated me and this didn't work. But tell us about that hard work, because I think sometimes it's forgotten.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's almost like you don't realize how, when I started spending closer time with you and started seeing you on set.
Yeah.
And in the trailer, and then you'd walk out and in 2 seconds you'd be in character.
Yeah.
And then you'd walk back in and you'd be Will again. and then we were in your man cave and you have you have the movie plotted out and you'd walk me through like how that tells you what, and I started to understand and appreciate that what you do is a science, and it is strategic and systematic, and it is a skill you have worked on for decades and decades and decades. You start to realize that the external view of like, Will's charismatic and he's cool, and you start to realize like, yes, but that is underpinned with just hard work. And I think that that's a real awakening that a lot of people don't get to experience when they see you on a big screen. Because you don't see all of that there. You don't see the learning of the lines, and you have a phenomenal memory. Like you know, we're studying spiritual books together, and you can remember stuff that you've read that day, and that comes from all your years of training. And even your ability when we first met and you said, Jay, I'm an actor, you know, when we're just direct me and we can do this because I can drop into a student mindset.
Absolutely.
So much of this is internalized. It's not. Tell us a bit about how long it took to learn all of this and start playing with it beyond just thinking, oh yeah, I've got this because I can act.
You know, I grew up in a military household, and you know, while there are certain emotional drawbacks to that, there are intellectual and organizational pluses that are you know, hard to beat. So you know, my father was really, you know, strict on order, organization, and the incremental completion of tasks, you know. And, you know, also combined with my mother's push on education. As a really young child, you know, we had to put hospital corners on our beds and our shoes were lined up, and, you know, so, you know, at 6 years old, we were forced to think along those military lines. And everything was a mission to my father. Like, you know, there was nothing that was a basic task. You weren't just gonna wash the dishes. You know, it was a mission, you know, that had to be completed with, you know, military precision, you know, down to how much dishwashing liquid you're using and how much the bottle costs. And if you use that much, and how many dishes do you wash with that amount of dishwashing liquid, and how long are you going to be able to use this dishwashing bottle, so you can relate that to how much work you have to do to be able to wash that many.
Your dad sounds Indian.
Yeah.
I have to say, so Will, is your dad Indian? It's like, wow, that is intense.
Yeah, you know, so it was really, you know, his mind was like that, and I took, you know, we always take the things we hate the most from our parents. But, you know, from that, the gift of structure and the gift of breaking tasks down, you know, you set the goal, but the breaking the tasks down into smaller, manageable pieces was a thing that I came out of my childhood with. You know, for example, you met JL. Did you meet? Yeah. So I told when I said I wanted to be the biggest movie star in the world, you know, and I was 18 or
Oh,
something.
no, I haven't
like
met
that.
him yet.
Yeah,
I know
did
you're talking.
JL?
I haven't
You
met him yet.
JL?
Yeah, I know
Okay.
you're talking about. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I said I want to be the biggest movie star in the world. So the first thing that we did is we looked at, okay, well, what are the top 10 movies of all time? Because if you want to be the biggest movie star in the world, you're going to have to make the biggest movies in the world. So we said, well, what are the top 10 movies? So we looked at the top 10 movies. We said, well, what are the patterns? What are the patterns in the top 10 movies? And at the time, 10 out of 10 were special effects movies. And 9 out of 10 were special effects movies with creatures. And 8 out of 10 were special effects movies with creatures and a love story. So, you know, that's where the bent for me towards sci-fi movies came from, the recognition of the patterns of sci-fi creatures and a love story. So that became what we were looking for with everything. And then Independence Day was a no-brainer, and then Men in Black was, behind that.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of systemized
Algorithm.
Yes,
Yeah,
right, exactly.
yeah,
Looking
yeah.
for what is the pattern, you know, and that's one of the gifts my father stuck me with coming out of childhood.
Yeah.